Get
You need a simple way to accept payments online. With Pesapal's online payment solutions, you can accept payments in most currencies from anywhere in the world. Add Pesapal's payments page to your website, and with the click of a button, you can accept payments the easy way. With Pesapal's payment link, you can add e-commerce to everywhere you interact with your customers. Unlock new sales channels and explore secure online payments at no initial costs, no monthly fees, and no hidden charges. Grow your online sales with Pesapal.
Apparel is all about fun, not just a restaurant, not just to eat. That's why we have all those funny giraffes, so that the first thing you see when you come in, it's to make you laugh and brighten your day, apart from having a team full of young people to just make you smile as you enjoy your meal. We chose Pesapal. It's straight. When I have to check the payments, it's simple just to check on my phone from wherever it is that I am. I can just check what came in, even if I'm not at the restaurant. The next day, I can get a clear report of all the payments that are coming in. Pesapal accepts so many cards. There is no problem when it comes to clients from all over the world having to pay via Pesapal. We always have to be creative to make the people happy and not just the same thing all the time. Yes, I would recommend Pesapal to other business owners. They want to make money, but they think for you as a business as well, and that's why they give you the best rates. Apparel is happy with Pesapal, and yeah.
The year is 2020. The word, unprecedented. The goal, survive. The world of travel has entered into a new era post the global economic shifts brought about by COVID-19. So what will it take to run a recovering hotel in 2020? 1. Tech and innovation. The most successful hoteliers are constantly looking for ways to stay ahead in the game. They do this by delivering exceptional service across all customer touchpoints and by incorporating new technologies to help their teams work efficiently and effectively. Are you leveraging innovative solutions and incorporating technology into your business model? 2. Marketing strategy. Now that we're back in business, you'll need a plan that will not only help you gain a competitive edge, but also develop holiday products with best profit-making potential. Do you have a marketing strategy in place? And 3. Wider revenue streams. Your hotel will need to explore alternate revenue streams to support the overall growth and sustainability of the business. How do you assess and ensure that you're making the most of your existing offering? The Post-COVID-19 Hotel Handbook 2020 by Pesapal seeks to provide tips that hotel managers can lean on in the recovery process. What's more, it's absolutely free. Download your copy from the Pesapal website today.
My name is Francis Kiruri, and I'm the general manager of 15 Rooftop. A typical day involves checking on emails and responding, also doing a briefing with the team.
Check everything is okay, check on the reservations for the day and allocate them.
Coordinating with my team to find out, what we're doing for that week.
To go through the stock, know what I have in stock, what I need to order, what I need to prep for the day.
The guests who actually come here are impressed with the 360 view, with half of it being of the city and half of it being of the park.
What I've loved so far is just seeing the customer response to the product.
They love the ambience, they love the color coordination of the place, and the services, and most definitely the food.
There's been so much positivity, so much support, so much feedback, and also seeing the enthusiasm of our target audience and the fact that they actually come to the establishment and were very excited about us. An overall beautiful experience for our customers also includes payments.
Before there were delays, especially when guests asked for their bills, but now with integration between Oracle and Pesapal, has obviously helped us in making sure that we process our bills faster.
The Pesapal solution has been efficient for us running through the three departments, the F&B, the kitchen, and the service team. It's been able to coordinate the services all together.
The system has proven to be seamless. There's minimal contact with the waiters.
The waiter does not have to go to the POS system to close a bill. They can actually close it using the Pesapal PDQ. So that helps us achieve faster service.
The M-Pesa platform on the POS has made it easier because you don't have to key in the code. Once it's been paid and you select on the M-Pesa online, it just automatically reflects.
So making sure that we have a seamless payment solution has helped us to maintain our standards in terms of our product offering and ensuring that our customers have a seamless experience at 15 Rooftop.
I definitely advise other business owners to take up Pesapal because of its integration with Oracle.
It leaves for a seamless, smooth execution.
It's made it very efficient and secure, and those are the priorities when it comes to payments.
And makes the work a whole lot easier. And communication from the service to the kitchen is of minimal interaction.
When you integrate with Pesapal, you're able to offer your customers a premium experience all around.
Good afternoon, everybody. Actually, it's not just good afternoon. It could be good morning if you're logging in from the US like myself. It is 4 a.m. here in Dallas. But thank you for logging in. Actually, if you don't mind, for the people who have logged in on the show, please just leave us a note and let us know where you're tuning in from. And thank you for tuning in to today's show. Without much further ado, allow me to welcome you to the second edition of the Pesapal Lunch and Learn series. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time, or maybe this is your second time, this Pesapal Lunch and Learn series is a series that Pesapal has put together to bring together people in the tourism industry for a platform. They've created a platform for people to learn from each other, from people to inspire each other. So if you're logging in today for the first time, karibu. If this is your second time, asante sana. And thank you very much for logging in again to this series. We're looking forward to having a great time with you. Today, we have three very exciting speakers on the panel today. Our topic today is about fearless founders and breaking barriers in the tourism industry. So we have three exciting people who will be sharing with us their stories today. And we hope you'll learn something from them. But above all, we hope that their stories will inspire you to break your own barriers in whichever industry you're in. And especially if you're a person in tourism, we know what the last 2 years have been to the industry. So it's just exciting to hear from people who have broken barriers and who have stayed the course during this season. So karibu. Without much further ado, allow me to introduce you to our speakers. I will start with the lady the lady speaker. We have Charity. Charity, please wave to our audience. Charity Githinji is the founder of Tandaza Africa, a tourism organization that works with destinations to help them market themselves. Charity is one of the ladies behind the innovation Kenyabookingcom, and within Africa, she is one of the ladies promoting intra-Africa tourism through her Pan-African work, working with the different destinations within Africa. In the last few years, Charity has been named by Africa. The last few years, Charity was named one of Africa's top 100 women in tourism by Africa Travel Market at Akwaba. And this is mostly for her work, the work that she had done in Tanzania to bring up the tourism industry in Tanzania. Charity, karibu.
Asante sana.
All right. Next to Charity, I will be introducing Mohamed Hersi. Mohamed, wave to the crowd.
Thank you.
Karibu, Mohamed. Mohamed is no stranger to the tourism industry. I think you're one of the most recognizable names when people are talking about tourism in East Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we'll be talking about that in a little bit. So, Mohamed, thank you for accepting to be a speaker on this series. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Mohamed is currently the Director of Operations at Pullman, but he's also been the Chairman at Kenya Tourism Federation. And for those of you on social media, you will note that Mohamed is one, I think you say you're the eternal optimist, right? So one of the people who have really been using their platform to promote tourism in our country. So Mohamed, we're looking forward to hearing from you. And last but not least, we have Agosta Liko. Agosta, wave to the people. Smile. Agosta, thank you for joining us. I must say, we are very excited to have you on the show today. For those of you who know Agosta, will know that this is not his cup of tea. So if you're listening on the show today, just be knowing you are witnessing an epic moment where Agosta goes live on international platform. But I guess for Agosta Liko is the founder of Pesapal, right? And Pesapal today is a sponsor of the particular show. But beyond that, Pesapal is also one of the companies that have been trailblazing, I guess, across Africa as a fintech, yeah. So as a techpreneur in the industry, Agosta has been breaking big barriers. In 2016, he was named one of the top 100 most influential fintech leaders in tech and business, not just in Africa, in the world. Agosta was being named alongside people from Apple, Google, and other big tech companies. So we're very proud that you're on this show today. Agosta, we're looking forward to hearing your story. This year, 2021, Pesapal got licensed by the Central Bank of Kenya to operate as a, why does this escape me? My gosh.
Payment service provider.
Yes, sorry, excuse me for that. So they got their license to operate as a payment service provider. So as a company that's been operating for the last 12 years, I believe, that was a big feat for you. And I think you got the same in Tanzania and in Uganda. So I would say that you're quite on your way to becoming the best payment solutions provider within Africa. All right. So today is not so much about me speaking. I'm sure you're all waiting to hear from the different speakers. I will start with you, Charity, right? Charity, tell us about the work that you're doing with Tandaza Africa. What inspired your journey to become a founder? What made you move away from working within the hotel industry? From working in the hotel, what inspired you to start your own company? And what are you doing with Tandaza Africa? Share with us a little bit about that.
Thank you, Anjeri, and nice to meet you all. I started my journey in tourism 27 years ago, and it reached a point whereby I was tired of selling tea and mandazi, like we normally joke about it. and I decided to go out on my own. I've always been an entrepreneur, so in as much as I was working in a hotel, I still used to do small businesses here and there. I also got tired of basically waking up too early in the morning to go and ask people, "How was your night?" And I thought it's time for me to do something that also goes towards impacting the tourism sector directly. So I look for gaps where the sector is concerned, and I look for ways of partnering with people to fill in those gaps. We are in the areas of marketing, branding, product development, capacity building. And right now, we are also going tech. When COVID hit in 2019, 2020, yeah, it hit towards the end of, 2020. We decided to come up with a product that would cater for the Kenyan market and help the Kenyan market in terms of putting all the stakeholders together in terms of the hotels plus experiential creators, and come up with a tech platform, which we are working on right now. It's at beta testing stage before we really launch it to the rest of Kenya.
Okay. Exciting news indeed. Liko, maybe we can get to you. Tell us about Pesapal and what you're doing within the tourism industry. What solutions you're providing for the industry?
So, first of all, we built Pesapal after failing to find a payment system. Initially in 2006, 2007, we were working on a travel network. And the reason we were working on the travel network was because at that time we felt like there was no way someone who was coming from abroad could use the internet to discover, to research, and to find African travel opportunities. Typically, a customer would have to go to a travel agent in the UK or in the US in one of the malls, be given brochures, and then they buy through the travel agent. So we started building a travel network. When we finished building the travel network, we tried to accept online payments, and we could not find a solution for online payments. That's when we started building Pesapal. Fast forward to where we are right now, I believe we serve the highest number of hotels in East Africa when it comes to online bookings, because we've built a platform called ReservePort that is used by hotels for online booking. The same platform is used by airlines, it's used by restaurants. Then number two, we have done pretty well when it comes to online payments. A lot of the major hotels will use Pesapal for invoicing, for online payments, for bookings on their websites. And then number three, we were the first in the market to integrate our payment solution into Oracle Hospitality. Some people call it Micros, other people call it Opera. But basically, we've been able to integrate the whole chain, all the way from the order on the website, the order on booking.com, hotels.com, into the hotel for fulfillment.
All right. That sounds interesting. I guess what we are seeing with what Pesapal has done is just taken advantage of the internet and helped businesses plug in and be able to reach a wider audience. Now, Mohammed, rumor has it that you have been in the industry for over, I don't know if I'll be revealing your age here, but over 25 years you've been in the industry, right? And you started your career as a waiter, and today you're the group director of operations at Pullman's. But Agosta mentioned something about the internet and, just the solutions that they had made, that they've created with Pesapal for hotels to be able to plug in and to reach people globally with their product. Tell us about your experience with the internet and how it has changed just the way tourism is being consumed today. Yeah, talk to us about that.
Thank you, Andrea. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. And thank you, Pesapal, for bringing us together. Yeah, you make me feel very old. And but again, it is said that, aging is a privilege. Yes. So I'm glad I'm here. Mm-hmm. Yes, good. Now, let me start off with what I've done in the past. Firstly, I was a banker at some point, and then I moved to the hotel industry. when I found banking to be boring. And I've been in the hotel industry for very many years, and this is where I am. Agosta is laughing over there. Now,
I would not picture you as a banker, but
in my current position, I moved away from the hotel industry per se, from running a hotel day to day, where I took up a role in a tour company. This is a complete shift because normally you're either a hotelier or you're a tour operator. But right now, you can say I am a mix of both. I'm looking both at tour operations, and I'm also looking at two hotels. We have the Baobab Beach Resort, and we've got the Salt Lake Safari Lodge and the Taita Hill Safari Resort in Savo. Now, when it comes to technology, you've asked a very good question. You said, what is the role of technology? At one point, we used to say that if you're not on the net, then you'll be out of business. Not only will you be out of business where we are today, you should be able to conduct your business without having even a physical contact. If you're not able to do that, and the likes of Pesapal are helping clients to book your services without ever, getting to meet one-on-one or to struggle with the so-called, RTGS and all those things, credit card, you send this, you send that, all those days are gone. So with the likes of Pesapal, they've made life very easy. So it's great that today here we are talking about how technology has made life easier and of course facilitated business for us. There are many angles we're going to look at as we move ahead. So it's a great pleasure to be here and looking forward to share my experience in depth. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Back to you, Agosta. How important is the travel sector in your business?
So we built our business when we started building our payment gateway. One of the sectors where we saw the biggest or the most immediate need was in the travel sector. When Pesapal started, it was practically impossible for a small tour operator, a small travel agent, most of those guys to accept card payments online. So we built our business on the tourism sector. That's why we have a lot of solutions for the tourism sector. And I can actually go out and say what we're doing in point of sale and all that stuff is us trying to catch up to the rest of the market.
Okay. All right. Charity, I know you're doing some innovation with Kenyabookingcom, right? Maybe talk to us about what you've done with Kenyabookingcom and how that has impacted the sector.
Well, Kenyabookingcom came up as a result of a request from WRC Safari Rally, where they're like, where can we find Kenyan hotels on one platform? And, rather than go to the booking.com and the others that are basically international, they wanted a platform that basically speaks about Kenya, talks about the products that are available and the facilities. And that's when the idea of coming up with Kenyabooking.com, came up. So what we did was to now start working on a structure that basically would support hotels and events or experience creators to come on board and showcase what they have. And what we did was to put up all the hotels in Nakuru County on one platform so that anybody who wants to make their reservation can do so. So right now, we, as I said before, we are at beta testing stage. And what I like about the whole idea is that all the money remains back home. We employ local people. There are no commissions that are being paid out to other external, companies out there. And we are also able to give lower commissions to either the hotels or the event curators and all that. So we've got a long way to go, but we've also made a platform that is scalable and we'll be able to do much more than just bookings. So this is something that is work in progress, but it's exciting. And getting into the tech world is really great. And you have to work with young people. And I like that because it keeps us younger. So yeah, Kenyabooking.com will go places and possibly will also be able to scale it to regional and beyond that because there are gaps that are existing at the moment. So as I said before, we look for gaps and fill in those gaps in the hospitality sector.
Okay. Hopefully you'll be using Pesapal as your back-end payment integrator. But we're not pitching today. Now, Mohammed, Charity and Agosta have used the internet with regard to how they are creating platforms for their business. I think for you, you've used the internet possibly to maybe raise your profile as your personal brand. So maybe I would want you to just talk to us about the name Mohamed Hersi and why it is a name turner in the industry, right? And what do you think you have done to be able to have, why do you think Mohammed is such a name in the industry? Whether you talk to someone in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, you're not a new name to the industry. Why do you think your name turns heads?
Thank you, Anjali. That it's quite humbling to hear that. But let me say this: the name Mohamed Hersi. Unfortunately, I share the name with a warlord in Somalia. So the first time you Googled Mohamed Hersi, the warlord comes up, and he takes tons and tons of pages before you get to mine. And over the last 10 years or so, I've managed to push him down to the third and fourth pages. Mm-hmm. And the question is, how have I been able to do it? Firstly, tourism industry and travel industry and hospitality in general, I always said it's a showbiz business. You cannot be in this business if you decide to be an introvert. It's an extrovert industry. You need to be outgoing, because what is a hotel, for instance? The best description I always give about a hotel is a place where you go to see and to be seen. It's a social place. Now, if you're a hotel manager and you don't like meeting people, then you're in the wrong place. You better be somewhere else where you're just dealing with equipment and you don't have to talk to people. So one of the things that has really helped me, and I think where I really made my name, was Sarova Hotels, specifically Sarova Whitens, where the owners, the directors, basically gave me a blank check. And they said, well, this is your hotel. You treat it like your own. In the process, while you make the hotel go places, you also go places. And I can't thank Sarova enough. And then later on, of course, I moved to Heritage Hotels. But just working as a hotelier is one thing. Because everybody else, there are very many hotel general managers and there are very many hoteliers or tour operators. But very importantly, you need to come up and take leadership in various places, including, when you get invited to such a forum, you don't start becoming so complicated that you're not available. And that's the mistake a lot of us do make. You become hard to get. What does that do? You're simply losing an opportunity that you could have been seen. And in the process, also, you're giving back to society. And not everything is just about money. Because you're appearing, you need to get paid. That's not the point. We need to make the world a better place where you share your ideas, you share your experiences. Now, coming to the internet, and specifically social media, again, it's not about age. Recently, actually last year, I was among the people who won the digital, awards, and I was given the personality of the year in terms of digital space. And I was along with many young people, the creatives and all that. People were hardly 25, and here I am, was just hit the 5th floor. It made me feel younger, but it just means that age is nothing but a number. And anyone who feels that the net is not a place, is a place you waste time. Talk about Facebook. People think that Facebook is a place of wasting time. It is not. Today, I'm happy to say I have very strong influence on Facebook, where even the government will listen to what I say. So I'm basically a leader without a title. I don't have to hold a position in government to influence policies. On Twitter, likewise, that's where you meet a lot of corporates. Then, of course, LinkedIn is another one. So all I want to say is that social media is free, but it's up to you, Anjari, and everyone, how you're going to use it. You can choose to use it in a positive way, where you help others, you help yourself, and you make the world a better place. And of course, my tagline always remains that, as always, I choose to remain an optimist. And let me tell you, choosing to remain an optimist makes you younger. Less worried. It doesn't mean that you're not realistic. You are realistic, but at the same time, it is healthier to give accolades and to thank people who have done good things to mankind. It's just not always about criticizing and always throwing mud at people. Thank you.
I must say, Mohammed, that I have been one of the beneficiaries of being able to just learn a lot from you. And when you say you need to not be hard to get, I think you're one of those people. Your phone number is not a secret to many people in the industry. People call you. I think I had my first interaction with you when I was maybe 1.5 years old. We had just opened the hotel at Enashipai, and you met me on at the buffet line. Said, "Oh, you want Jerry from Enashipai?" You're like, "I really like what you're doing here." And my head was like, "Oh gosh, I don't even know who's noticing what we are doing or what we're doing with the brand." So I must say, with regard to being one of the people who are positively and constantly reaching out to lift other people, knowingly or unknowingly, I really like the way you use your platform. And with those few comments, please allow us to take a break for a minute. Thank you.
Thank you.
You need a simple way to accept payments online. With Pesapal's online payment solutions, you can accept payments in most currencies from anywhere in the world. Add Pesapal's payments page to your website, and with the click of a button, you can accept payments the easy way. With Pesapal's payment link, you can add e-commerce to everywhere you interact with your customers. Unlock new sales channels and explore secure online payments at no initial costs, no monthly fees, and no hidden charges. Grow your online sales with Pesapal.
My name is Jay Swangari. I'm the retail manager at Elite Digital Solutions. We are the only Apple premium resellers in the region. We are in Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, and we serve remotely in Burundi, Congo, and Ethiopia. In Kenya, we have our head office at Peponi Plaza. We have our stores at Sarit, TRM, Karen, and in Nyali. We also have a service center in our HQ at Peponi Plaza, which we invested a lot of time and money in it to make sure that our team is trained and equipped to sort all your Apple requirements and needs. We offer all Apple devices. We offer iPhones, we offer iPads, we offer MacBooks. For the iPhones, we have the iPhone 12 lineup currently in stock. For the MacBooks, we have the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro with the M1, and we also have the MacBook Intels in 16-inch and in 13-inch. We have other products like CAD solutions, we have graphic design, we have print, we have digital transformation, as well as robotics. Pesapal and us are very similar in the ease in which our products are used, so it was just about time that we worked together. The Pesapal products are very customer friendly and very easy to use. We use the Pesapal Sabi PDQ as well as the online payment method. We use the PDQ to process Visa and MasterCard payment, and also the fact that the PDQ can process our payments both in Kenya shillings and dollars comes in handy with us. Something else about the Pesapal Sabi PDQ is the fact that we do not have to print the receipt. This comes in line with our goal to protect the environment. We're having a challenge with receiving online payment remotely, and Pesapal came in handy to ensure that customers can pay remotely and we can deliver the goods to them. The customer support from their end is impeccable, so our experience has been very, very good. It has made our work quite convenient. Pesapal has come in handy in making sure our business model has improved. It's been so great, so we highly recommend them to anyone out there.
All right. Thank you for that little interlude, and welcome back. As we get into the next session of the series, I'd like to start with you, Charity, right? Charity, I first interacted with you when you were running the Naivasha Love Festival, and you were doing this and where you were bringing together the stakeholders in Nakuru County to put together the event. One thing I remember you constantly talking about during those sessions was about sustainability in events and how we all need to think about our events with a sustainability angle. Talk to us about green tourism and sustainability.
All right, great. My love for Nakuru County, which is my home, started a long time ago. And I said, when I come back home, having worked away for a number of years, more than 10 years away from home, I decided I want to give back to my county. And for us to be able to uphold our businesses and for them to be sustainable, we must carry out sustainable business models. And when we started off with the Naivasha Dove Festival, that was my first major event after coming back home. And I said, let's make this the first green event in Africa in terms of waste management, in terms of collection, in terms of making sure that we have a great positive impact to the community around Naivasha. So it's just not about the hotels filling in, but it's also about the community within Naivasha being part and parcel of the festival. Hence, we had 4 days whereby we had, talks on environment. We had tree planting sessions, and those trees are still being taken care of by the local community until now. And we said, when we have the next one, then we're going to go and have a look at it and, give awards and stuff like that. We had a lot of activities going on over a period of 4 days where we had about 13,500 people coming into Naivasha. And during that period, we're also looking at activities that will have a greater reach and an event that will go on forever. So in terms of sustainability and making the county green, people have to look at their business models, how they do this business, how the business impacts on the community, how they carry out their waste management, zero plastics, how they treat their staff, how they treat their customers as well as their suppliers. All that has to be looked into. And in the green, in the process of making Nakuru a green city, we are working with green tours, and we've already started the process on that. And this is a service that I'm not paid for, and I don't want to get paid for, because this is my give back to my community. This is my give back to my country, so that we can have sustainable business models. And what I'm also requesting the rest of the county in Nakuru, as well as the rest of Kenya, we've got the capacity building courses that we're doing within the East African region. Let them be part and parcel of that, because they also have a sustainability model. So whatever it is that you do, your business is just not for today. Don't look at things from a CSR point of view, because CSR does not really have a sustainable model. CSR is just like a show off kind of thing. That's the way I look at it. But if we look at a sustainable business model, it will go on for years and years and years, because it has an impact on the community and there's a succession plan to it. So my call out is for people to look at having sustainable events, sustainable business models, and to engage the communities, so that there's a positive impact to the community and the environment as well.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that information. At Agosta, rumor has it that you were kicked out of campus in second year because you were running a business while you were on campus. And hence you are not attending your classes, hence you got kicked out. But this always seems to be some of the stories we hear about a lot of founders, right? That a lot of people who've been successful in the entrepreneurial journey have actually been people who are probably seen as not so successful in their school careers. So in your entrepreneurial journey, talk to us about the challenges that you have faced, getting Pesapal to where it has been today, considering Pesapal is a business that you started in your bedroom.
So I was not running a business. The exams were just hard. That's why I never finished school. Doing stuff on the computer was always easier. The biggest problem with Pesapal in the beginning was we were too early. So you built a service and you're coming here, you're telling people, look, I'm going to help you collect money. The general feeling in the market was the banks should do that or other players should do that. And then when we built the platform, our expectation was people would understand what we're offering in the market, and it would be easy to sell. But then we quickly learned that just giving raw software to businesses was not going to help. So we started building solutions. And then it took us time. We started Pesapal in 2009. Between 2009 September to 2010, mid 2010, we had like 3 transactions. That's, all those months you have 3 transactions. And then fast forward to early last year, when COVID hit, is when actually the market started seeing the value of the platform. Okay, so we served what I would call fringe opportunities, doing bill payments, doing payments for tour operators, doing payments for hotels. So you're looking at bill payments and you're looking at hospitality. Luckily enough for us, when COVID hit, we were ready with point of sale. When we go out with point of sale, we discover there's this big opportunity in the market where businesses want a little bit better than what they have. Okay, so I'd say the biggest challenge for us was actually we're still early. A lot of the things we're doing, a lot of the pilots we are running, usually it takes time for the market to catch up, but we're okay with that.
So as a trailblazer, what makes you stay in the game?
So we have a brilliant team. The core team at Pesapal, we've been together for 10, 11, 12 years. So guys who are dedicated at working, building solutions, and listening to customer feedback. Pesapal is built by customer feedback. Tiketsasa is built by customer feedback. ReservePort is built by customer feedback. When we went, for example, into the hotel space, hoteliers want a solution whereby they'll have resident rates and non-resident rates. We have that on our platforms. Hoteliers want a solution whereby maybe a customer will just pay 20% deposit and then they'll pay the rest when they're checking in. We have that on our platform. So we're able to listen to our market, listen to our merchants, and then come up with solutions that will actually meet their requirements. And that's why we continue growing by double digits every year.
Wow. I don't think there are many businesses that would be saying they're growing in double digits every year. So congratulations for that. For the entrepreneur who was starting in their bedroom 10 to 11 years ago to seeing the business that you're doing today, that's no mean feat. Yeah. Mohammed, talk to us about COVID. On one hand, we can see to one of the people, Agosta and his team at Pesapal, COVID actually accelerated their business. Talk to us about the impact of COVID on your business, on your journey, and maybe some of the things that you have done to some learnings that you have learned pre and post COVID.
Thank you. Tourism is about movement. It's leaving one place and go to another place. And you're considered a tourist if you're going to spend in a different place away from your normal home. You become a tourist. So nobody ever thought of a pandemic where forget about the country, the whole world is under lockdown. Nobody ever thought about that, because if somebody said, let's say sometimes when November 2019, and they said, you know what, folks, by March 2020, you'll all be at home, all aircrafts will be parked somewhere, and there will be no movement. You look at that guy and just tell him, I think you're some very cheap wit. You better go check your head. Nobody ever thought anything like this can ever happen. Fast forward, of course, we heard about COVID somewhere in China. We didn't know much about it. And this is not the first virus to hit that part of the world. And we said, you know what, it's one of those things that always goes to China and it will just end in China, and that will be the end of it. But March 20th is when it hit Kenya. And of course, it started getting into Africa. And let me tell you, it was like bushfire. And it's when we realized that everyone actually wants to die closer home. Everybody was trying to find the earliest flight and the available flight to their home. We had to look everywhere for our 3,000 or so guests who are spread across the country as a tour operator. And we had to get people from Samburu, others as far away in Mara, others in Tanzania, to come back, and fly back home. And all of a sudden, all hotels were virtually empty. And the rest, as they say, is history. It was a terrible, pandemic that even the insecurity we've experienced, as a country, nothing comes close to that, because when your international airport is closed and no flights, and then eventually city lockdowns, that is something nobody ever thought. It's stuff we see in movies. It's not stuff that you ever imagine that it will happen to you. You get locked down, you start growing beard that you've never had. It just tells you that, you can't do anything. Now, of course, online, things started growing, specifically when it comes to deliveries and all that. And that's why Agosta, in terms of payment gateway, because you need a place where you can actually make your payment. And all these companies that are online actually did well, and especially companies that deliver at home, you realize that they grew. But for us in tourism industry, you need to leave your abode wherever you are, whether you're in the US, wherever you are, you go to another destination. Now, because of lockdown and because of all the new measures that have been put in place, and we're still experiencing a bit of it, where you cannot just travel to another country as you wish. We were discussing Italy yesterday. Italy are yet to add any country beyond Egypt in Africa to their list of the countries that you can visit. So it means you cannot come to Kenya if you wanted. That's why today Malindi Watamu is all dead. So what lessons did we learn? Number one, we learned that domestic tourism and regional tourism is key. Even on manufacturing, we realized as a country that we can't even produce simple things like masks. We were depending on China. But suddenly we're producing all those things because you know what? Necessity is mother of invention. We had to do something. And today Kenyans are better off because we are doing a lot of these productions, by ourselves. Now, coming to how things have changed, of course, you have to embrace domestic tourism, which, by the way, as a destination, we did a long time ago. 2007, the infamous post-election violence made Kenyans look inside. So with the Tembea Kenya campaign that started over 20 years ago at that particular time, came to help us big time because Kenyans were already traveling. Unlike when you look at next door Tanzania or Uganda, they're still struggling to find themselves. And even South Africa does not come close to Kenya. In fact, South Africa is trying to learn from Kenya how they've been able to grow domestic tourism. And I like to, commend Kenya Tourism Board, Magical Kenya team, for trying their level best, to make sure that domestic tourism actually kicked. And then, of course, we have regional tourism where you make it easy for your neighbors, to visit you, whether it is from Mombasa, whether it is Nairobi, when, you're coming from Uganda, you're coming from Ethiopia, etc. So those are some of the lessons we learned, that international tourism can actually disappear and disappear overnight. And they've actually disappeared. A lot of them have not come back. But looking forward, we are quite optimistic that vaccine was found. And again, I would like to thank, the scientists who worked very hard. A vaccine that will take 10 years took less than 1 year, because I believe it was also a sense of urgency and the threat. Because even the scientists will die of COVID, and many of them actually died. Okay, so we are happy that they found the vaccine. We've been vaccinated, and suddenly we are reopening travel once again. But will we go back to the numbers we used to have? Obviously, it will take time, but a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more about how, well, in as much as yes, COVID was a challenge, it has taught us to also look inward on the domestic tourism front, on the Africa tourism front. And Charity, I believe you're doing some work on intra-Africa tourism. Talk to us about the work that you're doing within the region to promote intra-Africa tourism.
Oh, fantastic. And I'm so happy when Mohammed mentioned about Kenya being at the forefront of really domestic travel. And really, that's when you look at the East African region, Kenya is way ahead than the rest of East Africa in terms of promoting domestic tourism. And those are the low-lying fruits right now in terms of domestic and regional travel. So right now we have a project that we are working on with the East African community across the East African region, just looking at gaps where the stakeholders are concerned and coming up with trainings that will help them push the domestic travel as well as regional travel. But one thing we've also realized is that perception, when we did our surveys, we realized that the perception of most countries other than Kenya do not regard the domestic market as a market that will sustain them. But this is a market that will enable them sustain their businesses. Other issues that we are facing in terms of regional travel is the lack of harmonization of the SOPs, the COVID protocols, the visa rules. Again, we don't have visas, amongst ourselves. But once we position East Africa as a bloc where we can be able to attract inbound tourism into East Africa, then we have to contend with the issue of visas. So those are things that the policymakers need to have a look at. One, be able to harmonize our COVID protocols within the East African region, and then have a campaign that changes people's perspective towards domestic and regional travel. So within the next couple of months, we'll be doing a lot of trainings. We'll be doing a lot of interactions with the stakeholders in the tourism sector, as well as the policymakers, so we can all bring about change and people can start looking at the domestic and regional market as a place where you can be able to, make your revenues and make a change to other people's lives and your lives as well.
Okay. All right, we have 10 minutes left on the show.
Maybe Wanjeri, I can comment on the issue of movement, especially in Africa. And this is something that Charity has touched on, which is visa. Visa is one of the biggest challenges we have. Travel between African countries, we make it so difficult for one another, unbelievable. You look at any West African and you think everyone is a drug dealer. You look at someone from Africa visiting South Africa, the South African consider you as an economic migrant. It's a very wrong perception because Africans must start treating each other kindly. We are not good at that. And what has happened is that we are forcing fellow Africans to actually go outside the continent to visit other places. It's only COVID that has slowed them down. It is easier for a Nigerian to visit and do business in Dubai than to come to Nairobi. We actually hold them at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. If any day you are taking an early morning flight, you'll find very many of them trying to take a wink, on the set there, so that they can catch their flight next. So if you just allow them to get into the city, we get close to 3 million West Africans going through JKIA. If we could only allow 1 million of them to get into town, and each one was to spend $100, we are talking of $100 million. That is far more than what IMF will loan to Kenya. Sometimes you just fail to look at what is right below your nose to appreciate. And this is, I think, a big gap that Africa, and as Africans, we've never done justice to ourselves. Thank you.
Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have approximately 8 minutes before we can close the show. So maybe let me go around the table and just ask our speakers to give a few last words, some words of inspiration to those people who are looking to walk the journey that you have walked, people who are looking to get into the industry, people who are looking to found and start their own businesses. What would you say to someone who's looking to enter the tourism industry today? Let's start with you, Charity.
Oh, wow. That's a big one. But one thing, major thing is first have the passion and the love for what you do. Invest on social capital, because for me, social capital has really worked well. My networking has led me to places. Some of the things that we start off, you don't even need to have money. It's just social capital. So invest in social capital, then have a passion for something that you like, and don't give up. Don't give up, and keep on innovating. Because they said that you need to keep on changing. So keep on looking for gaps and keep on changing. Keep on changing your mindset towards. You see, like now there are people who said COVID hit us really bad, but they're not looking at the opportunities that COVID has also brought on board, because there are a lot of opportunities that COVID has brought on board. So we need to change our mindsets towards businesses, towards ourselves, and to keep the focus. Yeah, so keep it going, keep it travel, keep it Africa.
Right, I like that. Mohammed, wise words from the eternal optimist to our listeners today.
I think there are two things I'd like to touch on. Number one is the young people who want to get into tourism industry, hospitality industry. And a lot of people look at the hospitality industry and say it's a very delicate industry and it is not a profession that you should undertake. Let me tell you, if you love serving people and you like interacting with people, it's a very good industry. And it's also rewarding and it's also enjoyable. Can you imagine working in the hotel industry? Of course, it's demanding, but this is a place where you report every day to work, and it's a place where people actually save for a whole year to come and only spend 5 days, yet that is a place you call work. Can you imagine? You're working at a beach resort, and I think the reason why I chose the coast is simply because of that. You leave your office and you walk on the beach without leaving, without flying for very many hours. I think those are some of the things that we take for granted, and I think it's a beautiful industry to join. So nobody should lose hope and say, you know what, I think I better not get into this industry. And people like myself and Charity, we're all available to guide you. Now, let me address the African governments, and specifically when it comes to what we call open skies policy. Our skies are too closed. It's high time we open this the airspace, so that as many airlines can fly into our continent and across our continent. Fact is, African countries, we've not been able to run proper airlines, apart from Ethiopian Airlines and a good attempt by Kenya Airways and South African Airways. We have over 731 airlines that are licensed to fly in Africa, but hardly 10 of them are performing well. So our infrastructure, which is, the one on the ground is not too good. You can't drive yourself, let's say, from Mombasa to Kinshasa. You can drive yourself from Amsterdam to Stockholm. I did that, and it was enjoyable. But we can't do that in Africa. So if we can't do that because road infrastructure is bad, why don't we make flying much easier and affordable? Until Jumbo Jet came into being the other day, flying was very expensive. And I think flying is just like owning a mobile phone. Before, Kenyans were allowed to own mobile phones, and it became cheap from 250,000 to almost nothing. And M-Pesa was born. The rest, as they say, is history. For me, traveling and flying is not a luxury. We need to open that, and let's allow as many airlines to come to Africa and connect us. Can you imagine this one, Jerry? For you to leave, let's say, Dakar, to go to Niamey, you have to go and say hi to your past colonizers, which is France, and then fly back to Niamey. We are doing that in 2021. That's how tragic it is to be an African today. You fly out of your continent to come back to your continent. It's a shame. I think we need to allow these other guys who run proper airlines, give them the licenses, let them connect us, let us do business, and let us be reasonable in our visas. In fact, African countries should just abolish visas between one another. Let us visit one another as we wish. After all, the boundaries were drawn by a white man. And you can see most of the boundaries actually drawn with a ruler, straight line, which means nothing, because we are supposed to be Africa. And Africa, they call it a continent, but many of us, we call it home. Asante-san.
And oh, what a beautiful continent we have. Right? Liko, last but not least, any wise words for the people looking to be an entrepreneur just like you? And any hopes for people who are looking to trailblaze within the fintech sector?
So the advice that, or my experience being an entrepreneur, and the advice I give a lot of people or feedback, is it's going to take time and it's going to be hard. Unfortunately, in our markets, we don't have support structures for small businesses or for new businesses, for innovative businesses. In our markets, you depend on family, friends, and fools to support you in your first 5, 6, 7 years. So I'm not good at hoping that the government will change. Usually you tell guys, hunker down, keep your costs low, solve a problem. My business partner, when we started the platform, we were being charged 500 shillings to do a transfer to a merchant's account. And I remember going to my business partner and saying, look, let's charge the customer. And he refused. He said, this is your problem. You solve it over time. This is not the customer's problem. So my experience has been it'll take time, solve a problem, and then after you've solved the problem, try and solve it for very many people, and everything will work out. And then finally, I think a lot of solutions are already here. We see a lot of inspiring entrepreneurs, whether it's hoteliers such as yourselves, Wanjeri, and then their businesses, local businesses that maybe we don't speak about enough, like what Bonfire Adventures has done for local tourism. I think we need more such businesses that basically allow people to discover and to experience new things, so that when it comes to Christmas, when it comes to Easter, we're all not going to Gishagi, but we're looking at the coast and all that stuff. Then from the hotel side, and I don't know if this will be popular or taken well, I think the hoteliers and the property owners need to look at what is the value of an empty bed. So if a hotel room is 17,000 shillings a night, there's low season. How do we make sure we use this low season, use these low occupancy times to get in more people to experience? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, our speakers. Today we've managed to keep time, and we are probably just 49 seconds above time. So everyone who tuned into the show today, thank you very much. It's always engaging and exciting to see the comments from the people who have tuned in. And I believe this will be available on the Pesapal channel. So if you didn't get a chance to catch the conversations, the insights, the learnings, please take a moment, and it will be available on the channels later. To our speakers, asante sana. This would not have been an exciting show without you guys. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.